Hey everyone, it's Book Crazy Katie.
Today's video is a Dividing Eden review.
Hey everyone, this is Book Crazy Katie, and today I am here to review Dividing Eden by Joelle Charbonneau, and I probably butchered her name. I really have no idea how to say it. I love this book, and it was amazing, and everyone, you should try to read this because it is amazing. I read this in a few days. I probably would have read it quicker if it wasn't for the fact that I worked 2 of the days that I was working on reading it. So, this book is about two twins that were never supposed to rule the kingdom that they live in, Eden, and they're prince and princess. One day, the lights go out in the castle. When the lights flash back on, their father and older brother have been killed. This leaves the Eden without successor, and at first it was gonna be their mother, the queen. However, she kind of goes off her bonkers, is deemed unfit to rule Eden. The council and this particular elder tries to place another guy in power, and it doesn't quite work because the seer of the country ends up coming in with book and shows that the law is supposed to show that when there are two people that have equal rights to being the next in line to rule the country, that they must be put through a series of trials to determine who the next ruler will be, and times that ends in death. Know that there's two twins that are being pitted against each other that have been loyal to each other and seen each other through thick and thin, suddenly being put against each other, and it ends up raising quite a bit of dilemma for the two. Andreas, the male twin who was born with breathing issues, believes that he has this curse that the previous seer had determined would destroy the kingdom. And then you have Karis, the female twin, who has always everything she can to keep people from noticing that her brother struggles with his breathing and has like it kind of seemed like breathing anxiety attack thing, but that he has struggles doing a lot of stuff. And so she'd always draw attention to herself, and oftentimes she'd end up getting in trouble in order to save her brother. Her whole life has been devoted to saving her brother and keeping him safe. When they're told that they have to compete against each other, they have a secret conversation with each other, and Karis is like, me and you should determine who the next ruler is going to be, and when we go through the series of trials, we'll make it so it is very clearly that that person, that the twin that they chose out of the two of them, would be the one that won at the end. And hopefully that way neither of them would have to die. She was also hoping to keep Andreas' secret about his breathing issues a secret from the rest of the kingdom, and nobody would discover his secret and see him as the curse of Eden, and which would be the seer prophesies that the ruler would, the cursed ruler would be the downfall of the kingdom. They go through these series of trials, and their relationship ends up changing over time. You see a lot of manipulation, jealousy, and rivalry. There's a question of who they can trust. Can they trust each other? Can they trust those around them? You'll see that there's some blind faith that shouldn't have placed it on. I'm going to warn you guys that there is a particular scene that had very explicit violence against a child. Karis, the female twin, see violence against her quite a bit. However, it's very fantastic read, and once again I'm saying fantastic, and I notice that I say this in almost every video. I really need to come up with an adjective to describe books and covers. It's a very amazing, wonderful, very active, and active read, you know, it keeps you pulled into the story. It did take me about 30 to 40 pages to like really get hooked. The first 30 to 40 pages, I can't tell you most of what happened in it, but once I got past that line and those first few pages, I was hooked. Every time I thought I knew what was gonna happen in this story, or that I had it pegged down and knew how it would end, things changed and I was kept guessing the whole way through, which is amazing. A lot of times I guess at least part of the book, if not like the whole end to it. It's the first book in a series, and I really, really want the next book like right now or yesterday or the day before. Like, I want to know what happens. I want to see where the kingdom goes. By the way, reading this book and hearing about it, you guys might think, oh, you got people fighting to the death, the rule of the kingdom. And it's twins. Kind of sounds vaguely like Three Dark Crowns. This is far better than Three Dark Crowns. Three Dark Crowns, I read it and was like, I will say Kendara Blake has writing talent and that's very explicit. However, I read the book and was waiting for something to happen. I was promised three sisters fighting to the death and ended up with three sisters that sat there and contemplated and worried about the fact that they had to kill their sisters and do they have powers, and oh, I'm into this boy, you know, and like that wasn't happening in this book. I guess there's some romantic interest in this book, more developed with Andreas and the seer Imogen, but you do see an interest with Karis and Eric, and then you see a potential, maybe something might happen, might not happen in the future with Karis and Garrett that might make it a love triangle between them, but at the same time, Garrett doesn't seem trustworthy in the least bit, so I'm not sure if that will happen. It just seemed like you wanted to try to get to Karis. And so, I really love this book, and it really drew me in and has a lot of good stuff going for it, and I want to check out more of Joelle Charbonneau's writing. One of the things that it says on the back of this book that she wrote was the Testing trilogy, so I might have to give that a try, and I really should buy this book. Oh yeah, and one thing I didn't mention is that when I first picked this book up, it's a advanced reader's edition, which I found at my local bookstore, just like I did with Awakened Land. Is when I first looked at this book, I'm like, I'm not sure about the cover. And then I read the description, and I'm like, oh, maybe it could be good. Maybe it will be like what Three Dark Crowns wasn't, you know? I was really happy that it did, but when I did read it, that's what it made me think of, is Three Dark Crowns, and I'm like, are we actually gonna get this, like, bloodbath or very competitive thing going on between the siblings, or is it just gonna be nothing's really happening, but we're gonna talk about our feelings the whole time and how, like, and about how we don't want to hurt our brother or sister, you know. However, a lot of stuff happens, and it's amazing, and I now want to read, like, all of her books, and so, check it out. I guarantee it's great. But this cover, as I was reading it, made so much more sense, and goes really well with the storyline, and I'm pretty sure I know exactly what the substance is that's being poured all over the chair, the throne chair here, and I now love the cover. If you liked this video, please let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, and share with your friends, please. Thank you. Bye!